إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَعْلَمُ مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ مِن شَيْءٍ. No doubt Allah Himself, He knows who they're calling on. مَا يَدْعُونَ مِن دُونِهِ مِن شَيْءٍ, of anything that they call on besides Allah. In other words, it's not just idols. They call on their own ego, their pride, their tribe. When they set those things up and they obey them and follow them like they should be obeying Allah, Allah says, I know all forms of idols. I know the seen ones and the unseen idols too. The idols hidden deep inside yourselves. وَهُوَ الْعَزِيزُ الْحَكِيمُ. And He's the ultimate authority. And He's the all-wise. وَتِلْكَ الْأَمْثَالُ نَضْرِبُهَا لِلنَّاسِ وَمَا يَعْقِلُهَا إِلَّا الْعَالِمُونَ. Those examples are the ones that we strike down for people, for the benefit of people. Who will understand them? Nobody at all, except those who truly possess knowledge. So Allah is basically challenging us that the study of the parables in the Qur'an require knowledge, they require reflection. It's not just anybody reads it and gets it. خَلَقَ اللَّهُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضَ بِالْحَقِّ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. He created the skies and the earth with purpose. And when Allah mentions that, what is He saying? You were created with purpose. All these nations that Allah created, they had a purpose. When they didn't meet their purpose, Allah destroyed them. The sun and the moon, the skies have a purpose. When they're done fulfilling their purpose, Allah will destroy them. So for those who believed in that, there's a clear sign. Everything has a purpose. How do I not have a purpose? How do I not have a reason to be here? And how is my nation going to live a life of abath, pointlessness, purposelessness, and get away with it? أُتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ. This is the last passages of the surah. It's one long discussion, 3 ruku I think it is. And what it entails is a conversation with the people of the book also. Why? Because the Prophet is about to migrate. Torture has begun, which means the season for migration is around the corner. And when he migrates, he's going to be dealing with the people of the book. But right now, in the face of all the torture that's happening to you, what should you do? What should you tell the Sahaba to do? أُتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. Read and follow along whatever is being revealed to you from the book, verbatim. وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةِ, and establish prayer. إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ. You hear this in khutbah all the time. It is no doubt prayer. It is the one that prevents from shamelessness and all forms of evil. Prayer is supposed to make a society free of shamelessness and other forms of evil. So for example, in the case of Lut, right, the nation, they were called, you do fahsha, and then ta'tun al-munkar, fi nadikum al-munkar, you in your public spaces you do munkar. Allah says the benefit of prayer is that you'll be able to fight shamelessness. So if you still have temptation problems, you still have evil thoughts, you can't get away from your mobile device for questionable browsing, but you pray too, then maybe you don't really pray. Maybe you pray, but you haven't established prayer. أقم الصلاة. Allah didn't say أُتْلُ مَا أُوحِيَ إِلَيْكَ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ وَصَلِّ. He didn't say read what has been revealed to you from the book and pray. He said and establish prayer. Establishment doesn't just mean قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ. The salat has stood. Iqama, they call it iqama, like iqamat as-salat, aqim as-salat here. That's what the imam says, aqim as-salat. But iqama also means to make a building stand, to build something, to establish something. It's like this building of prayer is weak in you. You haven't built it yet. You have to put the right foundations in it. You have to build the bricks around it. You have to make it a strong structure. And once you do, this building will be so strong, it'll protect you from what? From fahsha and munkar. And if you're making salat and you can't get away from fahsha, that means your building hasn't been established yet. You're praying, well, it's under construction. Salat under construction. It's not really salat yet. It's not iqamatu salat anyway. وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. And the remembrance of Allah is even greater. Meaning the remembrance of Allah outside of salat is even greater. And Allah is saying the real benefit, the first benefit is it prevents you from evil. But the bigger benefit is that you get to remember Allah. وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تَصْنَعُونَ. And Allah knows what is it that you're manufacturing. وَلَا تُجَادِلُوا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Don't debate people of the book. Muslims, don't debate people of the book. إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ, except in a way that is better. It doesn't. If your translation says best, it's wrong. If it says best, it's incorrect. It has to say better. Al-ahsan is the best. Ahsan is better. Do not engage, do not argue, do not debate with the people of the book, except in the way that is... Now what does it mean, better? What in the world does that mean? That means the tactics they use, the tone they use, the arguments they make. Don't resort to that. Find a better way of talking. Use the higher moral standard. Stand on higher moral ground. Speak in more respectful terms. If they're insulting your book, you don't come out insulting theirs. You don't do that. Find a better way. إِلَّا بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا مِنْهُمْ. Except the ones who wrong among them, there's not even a reason to argue with them. Leave those alone. But if people are coming to argue with you about your religion, be very intelligent, sharp, when you engage in discourse with them. And here's how you should begin your conversation. وَقُولُوا آمَنَّا بِالَّذِي أُنزِلَ إِلَيْنَا وَأُنزِلَ إِلَيْكُمْ. Tell them we have come to believe in whatever has been sent down upon us, and whatever has been sent down upon you. وَإِلَهُنَا وَإِلَهُكُمْ وَاحِدٌ. And our God and your God, the one we worship and obey, the one you worship and obey, is actually one. Wahid. وَنَحْنُ لَهُ مُسْلِمُونَ. And we are the ones that claim, we are the ones that are submitting ourselves entirely in front of Him. That is where the conversation is supposed to begin. We are not Muslim for each other, we are Muslim for Him. This is to be kept in context of the previous conversation. Previously Allah said, people don't come to Islam because they care too much about each other. And they don't want to leave that class. Allah says, I'm not Muslim for you, and you're not Muslim for me. You and I are Muslim for Allah. I'm not Muslim because my parents are Muslim, or I was born in a Muslim country. If that was the case originally, as I learned more about Islam, I came to the mature understanding that I am Muslim only because of Allah. That's it. And only for Him. For no other, not for my parents. You know, there are kids that aren't even convinced of Islam anymore, or they don't want to practice any religion. They just want to party, but they're still kind of Muslim because their parents would have a heart attack. So yeah, I'll go pray Eid or something. You know, in many parts of the Muslim world, you know what's happening to the youth? It's not like what's happening in America. It's not. In many ways, we're better off. In many ways. Oh man, the way Allah has blessed us. I mean, we got problems. I'm not saying we don't. But what's happening in the Muslim world is either the youth is becoming extremely close-minded, religious, that hates the outside world, and anything that doesn't look like the world that was 400, 500, 600 years ago. Like anything to do with like the modern world, they hate. Computers are haram, the internet is haram, TV is haram, you know, pants and a shirt is haram, and everything's haram. And the West is haram, and the government is everything is haram. They hate the world, and they use Islam for it. And on the other hand, you have people, a huge population of youth that wants nothing to do with Islam. Because they see that crazy, and they say, if that's Islam, I don't want anything to do with it. That's ridiculous. And these two populations are now polarized. There is no middle population. Maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago, you would find in the Muslim world, there's Muslim youth, they're kind of messed up. Yeah, they're into the whole movie scene, they listen to a lot of music, they go to concerts, but you know what, they'll make a salat too. They'll pray, they won't eat haram, they won't drink alcohol. You know, there was a population like that was kind of in the middle. They did some messed up stuff, but they did some good stuff too. They were kind of okay, kind of. But now that middle category is dying. You pick a side, buddy. And the entire world's Muslim population is slowly just being polarized. This or that, this or that. SubhanAllah. Pakistan, Egypt, Bangladesh, you name it. It's incredible. And it's strange that a lot of this middle, like small bastion in the middle that's left, that's supposed to be like the youth, for example, in Europe, the active youth in Europe, the active youth in America.